Ladies and gentlemen, get your socks ready. Get everything ready. Mr. Craig, what's up, dude? Welcome to the show.
Chris, thank you so much for having me, brother. You and I connected immediately, and I'm super excited and grateful to be here with you today. Let's rock.
We're going to light something on fire. I'm pretty sure if anyone's around right now, it's the end of January, so whenever this comes out, it comes out. But if you felt the world shift for a minute, that's what happened at the end of January. So welcome again to the show. I'm looking forward to this, and I kind of mirror your words. We connected instantly. I think it was pretty sure around like 30 seconds. I was like, oh yeah, this guy right here. We're going to light some shit on fire. So let's rock, man. Welcome to the show. And, you know, for the listeners, just give it a little bit more context and understanding who you are, what you're about. I'm not going to go through the whole bio and all that lame stuff. We're a podcast host. You don't have to like read all that stuff. But how do you describe yourself to the world and people like just walking up to you? Because it's not really hard now these days because you put in all the hard work and massive amount of growth and rapid growth when it comes to even personal branding will go all the way into this. People are probably, I would imagine, recognizing you on the streets and stuff. So how do you describe yourself to the world if people don't know much about you?
I'm just a guy who realized that we don't have unlimited time here in regards to a human experience, no matter what you think about soul and spirit and all that. That's a conversation for a different time. Right. I want to make the most of the time here. And ultimately, I had been unfulfilled for a long time, even though I was making money. As it turns out, that doesn't equal success. My personal opinion is success is measured by how happy you are. And so I pivoted and I looked to share my gifts with the world, my ability to communicate, elevate, and inspire. And I'm just someone that wants to help everybody fulfill their potential and tap into their own magic, because everybody has gifts. And if you're stuck right now, it's not a life sentence. We could change everything in an instant the moment we decide to, brother.
That's right. I would 100% agree with everything you just said, because I believe that everyone is born with unique and special gifts. But the problem is, the reason why they're gifts, then you need to go internal first to discover what those are. And we share something very similar in our stories, which is kind of, I wouldn't say ironic. I think it's just part of success when you get to a certain point in your career or getting to a point in your life and not understanding, okay, yeah, making money's fun, or making deals and then meeting great people. But if you're going home when all the lights turn off and you're not really digging what you're doing anymore, you stop doing what the world is telling you to do. You know, that was one of my biggest transformational like pivot points in my career, was going, yo, I'm tired of being what everyone else is telling me to be in this world. Yeah, I'm making you clowns a lot of money, but I'm tired of it. You know what I mean? So, and I know that you share that with, you had your kind of come up in Wall Street, correct?
That's correct. Yeah. And I was doing what I thought I was supposed to do. Now, whether that be from the environment, society, family, whatever the case may be, maybe I was seeking validation, if I'm being honest. I was doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing, but ultimately it left a hole in my stomach and in my soul. And the pandemic really helped me understand that life is unpredictable and it is a gift and it's a blessing. And the amount of time that we get here, we need to do something purposeful with it and make an impact and contribute. So that's what I did. And I know that's what you did. I want to acknowledge you for that too, brother.
I appreciate that. It means a lot to me. It really does. I guess real recognizes real. It's one of the oldest sayings ever, right? I mean, you kind of you rub elbows with people that are like-minded, but then again, sometimes you rub elbows with people that are not living a fulfilled life. And you can sense that through a lack of capacity, or maybe just even understanding or a lack of awareness of even what's happening in the world. And that's where I see a lot of people during the pandemic. It was an opportunity if you had the right understanding and perspective in the world of going, yo, this is an opportunity. I need to take this time while the world is slowing down for me to go, all right, cultivation of silence, cultivation of self-discovery. I need to figure some shit out. And I think, and I actually commend you for that, man. I mean, a lot of people, they're not going to take that time to go, all right, dude, I need to reset. Let's go back inside and let's figure out some stuff. Like, walk me through, like, what was your thought process during that time going, okay, what was the kind of the spark? It went, all right, I need to reset and I need to figure something else out.
Yeah, so beautifully articulated, brother. It's so true. Like, when things change inside us, things change around us. Yeah. And ultimately, when the pandemic happened, I shut down my office on Wall Street for what I thought would be 2 weeks. And I looked around for a second, because it was the first time in my whole adult life that I wasn't working, right, for a day.
Right.
because I love that stuff. I'm always about the grind. It's not work to me. Well, that was. But ultimately, I saw a lot of people doing a lot of Netflix and a lot of day drinking. I said, that's not going to be me.
Right.
Opportunity right now. The news is saying I have 2 weeks. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that I have an opportunity right now to kind of just find myself grounded and ask myself the tough questions. Am I really happy? And the answer was not even close. So not to sound too spiritual, but I felt guided. And from studying personal development for so long, I just had a strategy. And I essentially just asked myself, what are my gifts and what are my passions? And my gifts, and hopefully you and your audience will agree, is my ability to elevate, inspire, and actually facilitate inspired action. So that was my gifts, no problem. Well, what are my passions? Honestly, that was the easy part, brother. Personal development, removing limiting beliefs, law of attraction, just working on myself. I'm obsessed with that stuff. So I married those two, my ability to communicate in an effective manner with my love for personal development. I started my CLS brand and I never looked back. And people always ask me, like, you were making money on Wall Street. Weren't you scared to leave that behind and start something new that you had no experience in? And to me, it's like, on the contrary, the exact opposite. Now that I actually
me too.
Idea, my biggest fear was to not act on it and go back to doing something that felt like a job and straight up was sucking my soul. So that's how that
wow. I love this, man. I mean, this is why we're so freaking aligned. It's insane. It's almost like we're separated somewhere. It's seriously, I meet a lot of people and, you know, they say similar things, but you meet, it's very rare when you come across someone that really gets it and is doing it for the right reasons. Because there's a lot of people out there, and I know that you know this, especially when it comes to event speakers and keynote speakers, they talk about it because it's catchy and it's a good phrase, and they don't really live with it congruent with what they're trying to accomplish, and even it oozes out of. I'm the same cat, bro. And I can curse on the show, but I'm the same motherfucker. You'll sit Starbucks inside in a boardroom or wherever you see me. I'm the same cat. It's the same deal, man. And I promise you, and I know that this is going to be my next question with you, it oozes out of us. I can't stop because my sister passed away when I was 16. And just to kind of give you a little bit more context, like she was handicapped, and I had a different perspective of how grateful I am to be able to walk, talk, breathe, and not have to deal with what she dealt with. I tattooed her on my back in 2012, bro. It was kind of like in my mind, I'm putting you on my back because you couldn't do it, and I can, and I get to do this. So that was a huge spot for me, and it's holding me accountable to this and making it happen. But when I come across individuals that talk a big game, but they don't follow through, and they're only preying on the weak out there, trying to put money in their pockets, it lights me on fire.
Same.
Lights me on fire. And I commend you on the growth, yes, but then also still pouring into you're building a massive community right now.
Yes.
Massive. And I watched you on I think it was a live, I think last week, because I like to immerse myself in another individual when I'm about to interview them.
Yeah.
And I watched you in a live and you're the same stuff. It's like, yo, let's go. And it's another cool part. The person that you were on the live with had like 500 followers or something. Do you know what I mean? You lose sight on who you are and where you came from when you're not trying to elevate others to elevate yourself.
That's it.
Talk about that. Well, I mean, is that one of the major reasons? Is it like, I don't care what your status is, and if you are aligned to my message and core values, then yeah, I want to do some dope shit with you.
100%, brother. Like I work with, I'm a performance coach for some celebrities, but also I do it for the average Joe, for lack of better word, that's just trying to find himself in the world. You know, like you attested to 500 followers. Over a year ago, I had 300 followers on Instagram, and not that Instagram, you know, is a form of validation or success. But ultimately I was that guy, and I was looking to find myself too. And the bottom line is this: it's funny because you said I'm doing it for the right reasons because I'm led with my heart, right? Heart set, so to speak. And so are you. And the whole irony of that is you end up making 100 times more money when you do stuff for the right reasons and you're good at it. The money follows us. So that's no sweat. But in regards to helping people out, like, I don't discriminate. You know, I just want to help people that want to have support, that know that there's more out there for them, that they're having a little bit of a challenging time tapping into their magic, to their potential, and so forth. And I want everybody to win. Genuinely, I want everybody to get on fire. There's enough abundance out there for all of us to win, and then some.
100%.
Genuinely, I want to see everybody fly, brother.
Right. And man, I love this, man. We're going to light this shit on fire. Okay. There's a couple other angles we can go with this, but when you're talking about wanting people to live with passion and living with their purpose and being aligned to that, I'm on fire every day, bro. I don't have to drink coffee. I don't have to take drugs. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't have to get myself pepped up to be excited about my life. I get to do all this, man.
You get to.
I get to do everything. You know, that's the exciting, like so many possibilities. And I love adversity. It's just an indication that I'm on the right path. I'm on the right path. If it was easy, everybody would do it. I don't want it to be easy, but when you talk about the followers and Instagram, I don't give a shit about that. What that is to me, just like downloads with podcasting, you get massive amount of growth in your podcast. Congratulations, by the way. Yeah, you're welcome. Massive amount of growth. And that's what obviously happened with myself with this show. It took off. And I was like, well, damn, I thought someone would listen. I didn't know everybody would listen. And I was like, that's dope. It's just an indication I got your attention now. That's all that is. And the one other thing I'm going to kind of commend you on that I do love about your story, people see the massive amount of growth and rapid success. That's 15 years before Craig is built up to this. That shit didn't just happen in 1 year. You were speaking this years ago.
That's a great point, brother. It's so true. I've been sharpening the axe, as I like to say. Doing the
Abraham Lincoln, that was like sharp because you give me 4 hours to chop down a tree or 2, like, you know, to spend 3 of it sharpening my axe.
That's right. Preparation breeds confidence. I've been studying myself, the mind, reprogramming, all that stuff for over a decade now. So once I found that stuff, forget about it. That's when I was unplugged from the matrix, so to speak. And I realized that where we're at now, like I said earlier in the conversation, it's not a life sentence. We can make changes. We can change what we associate pain and pleasure to. We could revamp our mindset, so to speak. So this was 10 to 15 years in the making. Absolutely, brother. I just was able to finally find clarity and channel it into CLS.
Right. Yeah. And it's kind of like catching lightning in a bottle. And that shit only happens every once in a while, but you're able to be alone in your own thoughts, to listen to your gut. Your gut will tell you everything. I mean, that was one of the things that I'm going to ask you with, but everyone talks about morning routine. It's not about morning routine. It's not a routine. It's just the things that I have to do.
Non-negotiable.
There's nothing. I don't touch a phone. That's my moral obligation to people that I come in contact with in a board meeting or just by me passing. If I'm not dialed in, I don't do what I'm supposed to be doing or you're telling me to do. Because if I can't give it 100%, then I'm not going to go around that because I'm doing you a disservice. So that morning time, it was hard for me, especially like you being in Wall Street and me being in sales and obviously education world and me running my companies virtually. I felt like I was 5 hours ahead of the world because I'm in London, and me being 5 hours ahead of the world, like the rest of the world was up late and then late to me. And I'm always on my damn phone. I was never, dude, I wasn't present, bro. And it was sucking the life out of me. So I made a point, I think it was 2 years tomorrow, actually. 2 years tomorrow, no phone has touched my bedroom. No technology has touched. That's my sanctuary, bro. And when I wake up in the morning, it's all about me. Because who's going to care about Craig as much as anybody else? Like you or you. That's it.
That's it.
So that's how I looked at my life, especially when you hit a certain level of success, if you call it that and coin it. I was getting hit in every direction because everybody wanted something from me. So I was like, well, I need to take the time to raise my own awareness and listen to my gut of what the world is telling me to do. But what does Chris want to do?
That's it.
Who am I becoming? Who am I becoming? And I didn't like the vision. I didn't like the reflection I saw in that mirror. Was it like similar to yourself at that time? Is it, I don't like the reflection that I see right now?
100%, brother. And I'd been that way for quite some time. And ultimately, you just brought up a beautiful comment, like, who am I becoming, right? And I put a post on social media maybe about a week ago that said something like this. It's not about what we achieve. It's about who we become, right?
Yes.
On this blessing and journey that is life. And I didn't like who I was becoming. I didn't like the path I was going down. And so for me, the pandemic, and this might be controversial, but it provided me an opportunity to find myself grounded and reassess and reset, so to speak. And the funny part is, it's like, do I regret not taking that moment 5 years ago? Absolutely not, because I needed to go on my journey, this thing called life, and go through literally every single thing I did. Like you said, like it looks like an overnight success, but they didn't see the last 15 years. Right. I need all of that stuff to then package it and catch lightning in a bottle, so to speak. But also, I just want to touch upon this. I also have the same non-negotiable when I wake up in the morning: no phones for at least an hour as I'm doing my journaling, my meditation, my praying, my sharpening the axe, and my to-do list, this and that, before I hit the ground running. But also, I wake up early to get that edge, so I have that time. But I love what you said there. I think that's so valuable for the audience. Assemble and cultivate those non-negotiables, because number one, give yourself that space. Number two, when you say you're going to do what you said you're going to do, you build that self-trust.
Yes, that is massive. And that's one of the major reasons why people end up imploding with results, is they forget the non-negotiable part when they're looking at the quantitative value they're trying to bring the world. And the reason why I say that word is most people aren't going to catch on really truly what that means. Like when you look at value, people, I hear this shit, and this is why I'm not on Clubhouse. I hear this stuff a lot. They're like, I'm here to serve. You're only here to serve, and who's buying your shit? Stop saying that. If I wasn't there to buy something from you, you're not going to share anything with me. And what actually is the benefit of me listening to you and what you see is valuable? Not everybody sees the world the way that we see the world, or something else. So how well are you to be able to articulate the message over to another individual? And how to do that is through energy.
100%. Yeah, it's contagious.
100%, bro. So do you sit back and look at, and I know that you probably do, because obviously you spent just as much time on the personal development side as I have, and you maybe even more, I don't know. But it's not about the time, because time's an illusion if you look at it. Time is just something that it's not even real. It's a facade. So are you sitting back and are you constantly measuring or reassessing even through the results that you're having right now? Because it's hard to make those transition touch points going, something's off. Something doesn't feel right. I know what it is for me, but what do you have those moments? And if you do have those moments, just we're all human. Yeah. What do you do during those times when something just feels off for the listeners, maybe to grasp on a piece of nugget from you?
Yeah, so energy is everything, brother. I really believe that. Your energy will introduce you before you even speak, right? Like your body language and so
forth. Say that again for listening. That was dope.
Your energy will introduce you before you even speak. So with that being said, I couldn't agree more, my man. And like, I'm big on energy these days, and like alignment and frequencies and vibrations and all that stuff. So if something doesn't feel right to me, whereas the old Craig, even like a year and a half ago, like I would have just kept going, right? And like digging a deeper hole. So, but now if something feels off, I understand through self-awareness that that's feedback from the universe saying, Craig, something's not aligned here. Let's reassess. And again, money is no indicator. Like I could be doing a program, for example, and making a ton of money. But if I'm not as passionate about that particular product or that program, then just like you did, then it's time to pivot to something else. And I feel that in my soul. That's intuition. That's energy, so to speak. And so I couldn't agree with you more. It plays a huge role in my life.
Right. And it shows, especially when you're looking at a recyclable energy. I like recycle energy because I'm like right now, if I took my phone off a charger, it's going to die at some point.
Right.
Just like if you're not doing what you were supposed to be doing in the world and dialed into your true essence of yourself, the nucleus of what makes Craig or Chris or whoever, right? Yes, right, motherfucker. So if you're not dialed into that, then you're disconnected from your source. So you're going to die. Your energy is going to die down at some point. And that's where I look at a lot of the conversations that I have with individuals. And if I can't recycle that energy with you, I need to recharge in something else before I move on to something else. So when I'm having conversations with people that are not like-minded or maybe not on that type of synergetic level at that moment, great, that's fine. We're all human. But I look at also with people like yourself, by the time I get off this call, I'm going to have to go run somewhere. Do you know what I mean? I got to transfer that energy because I can't go in. I will do a disservice to the next meeting coming in at too high of a frequency, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Is that something that you're conscious of as well?
Yeah, 100%, brother. And obviously, guys like you and I, like, we have a lot on our plate.
Yeah.
I don't like to use the word busy because for some reason I think it's negative, but we have full days, so to speak. So you have to be very intentional with your energy, where you allocate it, and all that stuff. So 1,000,000%, like after this, you and I both have things to do that are different. And we have to be very deliberate and intentional with how we serve up our energy, so to speak. 100%.
Right. What are some of the goals that you have with all the things that you do have on your plate? And I like just what you said there. I don't like the word being busy.
Yeah.
Productively busy. I'm productive.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm effective. You know, and that's a difference because I look at it as being busy. That means some things I'm not aligned to my core message and the people around me. Even there's a lot of people, and I know that obviously in your organization, people look up to you. And when they're looking up to you, they're not looking up to you just to say, hey, look at Craig on this damn pedestal. They're working with me. No one works for me. They work with me.
Yep.
That's a choice. You can work for me, but you won't communicate with me directly. See my point?
100%.
So when you're working with your staff, and I know that the COVID's kind of thrown a curveball, and you having an office and for, you know, obviously what you used to do for a living, have you found that challenging with your organization of having so much virtual stuff going on?
You know what it is, brother? And I'm so glad that you just touched upon that. You said people, you know, work with you.
Yeah.
So my team that I've built and that I continue to build, I give them skin in the game. They have ownership in what I'm doing. So they're just as much attached to the vision and the impact as I am. And that means that's the key to success. When you're building a team and you're doing something really special, give your employees, I say in quotations, give them skin in the game. Let them be a part of the team. Right? Think about this. Let's just say you had a sales guy working for you, right? But he didn't have skin in the game. And he was selling your product, and he's on the phone with someone, and he gets a rebuttal, right? And someone's like, I really don't think I need that right now, even though you can really help them. That guy is probably not that inspired to continue the conversation. He'll probably be like, all right, thank you, next. But if he had skin in the game, he might go into his repertoire, hit him with a rebuttal, right? And then help the guys see that you guys can really provide value to them and get the job done. That's the difference between giving everyone skin in the game and then just treating them as typical employees. So give your team ownership. Let them feel a part of the vision.
Right. I love that, man. And I love that you brought up sales because, I mean, I wouldn't even like really call it sales, just an enrollment process, right? And if they don't have the skin in the game and what you mentioned, just to use the right words, right? It's not what's in the best interest of them anymore. They're looking at it as a job. They're not, you know, like when I look at WINJECT Studios and people go, I thought there's been friends of ours mutually that we have. They thought I was building a damn network. And I'm like, I'm not building a damn network. I'm building a massive freaking community. And I have 3 major components: music, radio, TV. Everything I touch, I'm going to enroll and I'm going to help. Because most people like that don't look at media. There's a huge transition. They're looking for podcasting to TV. That's a hell of a transition. And if you don't have media like Toastmasters or you don't have media training, then you're not going to make that transition. You're going to fail. That's why they have pilots for TV shows, because a lot of them don't get picked up.
Most of them don't.
Right. So they don't get picked up. That doesn't mean that people aren't, I guess, really being great actors or a cool story. It just doesn't fit the marketplace, doesn't fit the narrative on what the media is trying to push out at that time. That's right. So when you're looking at building a massive community, a person coming into the community is just their business just as much as it is mine. That's the way I look at it. And I don't have to tell them that. And I'm sure it's like that with you. They feel it.
100%. You
they feel it.
Family vibe.
Right. I don't have to ask anybody to do anything. They come to me with ideas. They're just as much innovative and visionary with I am with the business, and go, Chris, I really like this idea. What do you think? I'm like, well, I don't know. That's a dope ass. Let's investigate this.
Let's explore that. And
right.
I don't acknowledge you per se, but that's the qualities of a great leader. And I need to acknowledge you for that. The audience should as well. You practice what you preach, or as I like to say, preach what you practice. And everybody's on board. It's contagious. They feel your aura and they want to be a part of that. That's great.
Right. I appreciate that. And I mean, and I saw that in a couple, I'm not sure if it was a post. It had to have been a post because you're all over the damn place, man. Is it not hard to find you? Right. I was actually one of my staff members, Erin, she goes, this is going to be a fun conversation because I see a lot of people that you come in contact with and they have a high level of energy, but you two are like on that. Something's going to happen.
Put a dent in the universe.
Right. Sure. It's like you don't have to look hard to find you or him, and it's going to be fun to have this conversation. Like with the podcast, did you start off with the show? I mean, forgive me if I don't have that information in front of me. Was that just a pivotal spot? Like, why the podcast? If you did start with it, with the personal branding?
Yeah.
If you didn't, like, when did you start to add the podcast to it as a component?
Phenomenal question, brother. So I'm a creator. I'm a visionary, but that's my nature. So when I thought of CLS and I put together the whole idea, I reverse engineered this thing. And you can't hit a target you can't see. So
100%.
When I made this into a target for CLS, I said two things to myself, right? I said, I want to be the Apple of personal development, sneak, expand to the market leader. In a human form, probably looks a little something like Tony Robbins, but even bigger. And just to be clear for the audience, to give context, this is not an ego thing. It's not that I wanted to be bigger than them for personal reasons. I just wanted to be able to make the biggest impact possible. And when you think of Apple, you think of impact, right? Technology. When you think of Tony Robbins, you think of the godfather of personal development. So wanted to be like those, but even bigger. And so when I was coming into the world, it was a 10-lane highway. Coaching was one, mastermind, my membership, which is exploding, keynote speaking, as you know, I'll be on stage next week with John Maxwell and Jesse Isler. The podcast was one lane. And you and I, we could have talked forever before we went on air. I love the podcast. It was always one of the things that I was most excited about creating. So I started it a couple months into CLS, and I had a very big vision. I was very deliberate and intentional with who I had on the show, so to speak. And now it's not only monetized, it's exploding. We just signed a big sponsorship deal with Mark Cuban's brand, 3 Commas, and more. And to answer your question in a nutshell, to take it home, the podcast was always a part of the vision, brother. It was one lane in the 10-lane highway.
I love that. And you mentioned the coaching and the mentorship. And I love that with some of the messaging that I did see on the website, that the one-on-one coaching is a wait list. And I love that. Here's my point with this. And I love the fact that you have a wait list. Is that your way to be able to filter out the ones that need your help the most?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And to protect your time, because obviously time is of the essence, right?
Yeah.
Where the level of impact, and that's where I'm going to go with the question, because I know that that's the same way I look at it. What is my level of impact, and what is the longevity of the impact, and how many other areas can I recycle my energy through that impact? So is that where you're going with that's why the wait list is there?
Energy is everything, brother, right? To reiterate, like I can't stress that enough. You nailed it when you said that. And in regards to a wait list, buddy, me and you are, I imagine, very grateful to be in positions where we get to choose who and what we want to work on and with.
Sure. In
the beginning, when I started this, right, you got to start somewhere. And I was very grateful that when I opened my doors for business, people wanted to work with me right away. But let's just keep it real. Let's just be transparent. Like, there were some energy drainers in there. And no matter how much money you throw at me now, if you throw me 10 million to coach someone, if we're not aligned and it's not a good fit, it's just going to be draining of time. And it's not going to be good for either one of us. And so the reason for the waitlist, brother, is because I decide and I get to choose who excites me. Right. A lot of people could use support, but I want to work with who has that hunger, like the maniacal drive, that really has a sense of urgency, that wants to make big changes. And those type of people really excite me. And at the end of the day, you can't say yes to everybody.
No, you can't. I mean, I guess you can, but that's a reflection of your moral compass.
Right.
And I look at everyone trying to serve everyone or trying to help everybody. I mean, I'm not here as a prophet, bro. Like I got to do my shit. I got things that I got to do in my life. And if everyone's going to accept me to do things, and I don't know, I just look at it as, all right, where can I make the most impact with an individual? And I reverse engineer it. Just so you mentioned that the terminology with it. I love this. And starting with the end in mind, I look at it. What can you do for me that isn't something that you're seeking? And they're like, what the hell does that mean? I'm like, well, think about the level of impact with the just by the connection side. So what can you do for me that would, from what you're not seeking, is looking at what is the level of impact that you can bring to me? Because I look at it as I'm just a shared legacy in every person I've ever come in contact with. That's all I am. And just by your exposure, success is all about exposure. It's at some point you're going to get exposed to high level thinkers, and you make a choice. Either you do it subconsciously or consciously to not go along with this. Right? I think this is the 4th IPO that I'm going to be involved in, but this will be the first one as a CEO. All the other 3, I learned what it took. Do you know what I mean? So it's supposed. Do you believe that success is about exposure?
Yeah, it's about experience, exposure, surrounding yourself with the right people, learning from your lessons. Like you just hit it, buddy, like right in the head. This is going to be your first IPO as an owner associate, but you've been involved in several others, right? Maybe as a participator or in a different capacity. But you know how much you learn from those situations? Priceless gems, nuggets, experience and exposure and nuggets. Now you carry that with you when you're kind of the top dog of this situation, and you take that with you. So exposure is huge. And I got to also acknowledge you for this. I love the way you worded that. It's a shared legacy, right? Mm-hmm. How did you word it?
Yeah, every person I come in contact with I am a shared legacy of every person I've ever come in contact with, directly or indirectly.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. And I love the way you articulate that. And I absolutely agree.
Yeah, because you look at even sometimes what I mean by indirectly, there's been communications verbally or non-verbally that I would cues that I would pick up on and not even realize that I picked up on those cues. I'm like, because you know how it is sometimes you go, I consume a lot of content. I consume a lot of explicit knowledge, but I had to start somewhere. So I had to consume a lot of content. Yeah. And then I'm like, where the hell did I pick this up? And that's what I mean by indirectly. You might pick up something that could change your whole perception of your own reality and raising your own awareness. And then think about your future self. Like, I spent a lot of time thinking about this, Craig. Like, I owe it to my future self and the future people that I will come in contact with if I stay on this path. So I'm not just going to do myself a disservice. I'm doing everybody I could potentially come in contact with, and I might save someone's life. So, I mean, that's where I look at a lot of the content, and especially with the course creations and a lot of things that I have access to, I give away more free shit. You know what I mean? That people charge $50K for, bro.
Same.
Because the way I look at it is if someone touches this piece of content and it changes the way that they're looking at something and it potentially could save their life or somebody else, I'm good with that. That's a price that I'll never understand if I ever come in contact with them. And if I don't even know, but that's the whole point of why we need to do the things that we're doing. And that's that moral compass.
That's it. And
when you're looking, obviously with the game that you came from in Wall Street, you have the perception that comes to Wall Street, right? It's a money hunger game, bro. It's cutthroat. And I know that you come in contact with and I have too, right? And is that something that maybe potentially you've been exposed to by some of these cutthroat individuals and going, I'm not going to be that?
Yeah, 100%. Along the way in this journey that is life, you see things that inspire you, and you see things that maybe inspire you to not be or not to become, right? And that place was sucking my soul, and I had enough. And I wanted to make an impact and contribute to this world. And also something that you just said is beautiful. It's not about the money, right? Because that's going to follow us regardless, as long as we keep doing what we're doing. But you said that if you put out one piece of content and one person hears it, feels it, or sees it, and it causes a ripple effect, that's everything for you. I got news for you, brother. Only 10% of the people that you're impacting will you ever know about. So you keep doing your thing and you're on fire and you're putting out unbelievable content. You'll never even hear ever, like for the rest of your life, the 90% of the people that are following along and love it, but they don't necessarily hit like, or they don't comment, they don't engage. And that's okay, right? Because 10% of billions is a hell of a lot of people that you're impacting. So for anyone out there that is putting out great content and doing it for the right reasons, the validation won't always come because 90% of people won't know that they saw it. But just know that you are making a difference. and it is causing a ripple effect and so forth. But 100%. But just to circle back, yeah, like when you meet people in your life, and that might have been okay for a specific season or chapter in your life at that time. But as you and I continue to grow and evolve as human beings, we become different people, because I'm not the same person I was a week ago.
No,
right?
well, you're not the same person you were 10 seconds ago.
That's right, brother. That's right. And this conversation has helped me grow, because I love it. I love collaborating with you and stuff like this. So yeah, I met people along the way that maybe at a season in my life, it was acceptable, but now it's not. And it's definitely part of my drive.
Right. I look at sometimes, and this is going to be a personal, not personal as in a dig to anybody, because I believe in elevating people. I don't attract bullshit in my life. I don't give it any attention. Right. When you're saying, I know someone that mentions they want to impact X amount of so many lives, but they're not built for the hate. Yeah. They're not built for the hate. If you want to do X, Y, Z, and you want to make that type of collective impact in the world, you got to be built for the adversity, bro.
Yeah.
If I apply a little bit of adversity to you, a little bit of pressure, let's see what's going to happen. How much are you aware of the comfortability factor of how much someone can actually take a little adversity, and you see who they are?
If you want to do something special, if you want to take a real shot at life, right, then there's going to be adversity. Spoiler alert. The only way that there's no challenges or adversity is if you're not doing anything and you're just coasting. But if you want to do something special and really put a dent in the universe, make an impact, contribute, then welcome the haters. You can't stop and throw a stone at every dog that barks, so you'll never move forward, right? And I put out a quote yesterday on Instagram that was just like this, right? It's like the people that tried to bury you in the past didn't know you were a seed.
I love that, man. Elaborate a little bit further on that. I love that. And being a seed.
So like if you have haters that try to like maybe, push you down or take away your state, your energy, or disagree with you, or straight up just hate on you, like what they don't know is all that stuff makes us stronger. We're playing the long game here. And all that stuff we absorb and we just channel it. We don't even acknowledge it, and we continue on. And the reality is for anybody that wants to do something special, you better be gritty and you better be resilient, and you better understand that there will be people that don't agree with you, right? You're not everybody's cup of tea. I'm not everybody's glass of whiskey. It is what it is. And that's totally cool. But when I really stepped into this vision, into this life, my biggest promise to myself, I don't think I've ever publicly said this, my biggest promise to myself was that no matter what happens, because I can't control everything, one thing I can control is I will be 100% authentically Craig Siegel.
Love that.
It or leave it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to be as weird and as strange as I really am, because I am a strange cat. But the whole funny irony part of this is the weirder and stranger and more authentic I become and put myself out there, the more of a connection that forms.
100%, bro. People love that shit.
Love it.
Love it. Back in the day when we were young and not kidding anymore, and that was a little reference. Arrested Development, little shout out to them guys. It's fun, man. I was a really athletic individual. I was good in sports, which I was blessed and obviously cool. I met a lot of cool people, but I was a secret nerd, man. And the reason why I was a secret nerd, because I get messed with, right? So like I'm just a weird cat, man. I like weird stuff. I don't watch normal TV. I watch a lot of documentaries.
Same.
I like weird stuff. One of my old employees way back in the day, this is when I had a job, this is probably 10 years ago or so. They bought me an Albert Einstein poster, and it was riding one of those big tricycle looking bikes. And he's like a weirdo. That's what they thought of me. Like, you're a weirdo. And I'm like, yes, I'm a weirdo. But people love that stuff. You can connect. You're human. What makes you unique and special? I mean, you got to own it. When you're
well,
go ahead.
You, like the people that you look up to or that you connect with, is it the flawless types, right? No. I mean, me personally, like when it comes to movies or inspirational stories or documentaries, I love a good underdog story or like a story arc, right? Where someone goes through some shit and then comes back. Like that's the stuff that resonates with me because it's realistic. Like people go through stuff and it makes them strong. It could cripple people or it can make them stronger. And that's what's relatable. That's what people can get behind. Like when I started talking about when I was running my last marathon and I had a tumor in my foot and I started vocally talking about it to the community, I mean, the connection from there, it was so much more intimate and deep. And it taught me a big lesson. Like, just tell us, like, put your cards on the table. People gravitate towards that. It makes them feel a part of the journey. And it's straight up relatable.
Right. And it is relatable. And you know, congrats on obviously, you know, getting over that. Right. And then this little hump and, you know, getting well. I mean, health is wealth, my friend, you know, and it's mental health even more because you can have the greatest body in the world or whatever that might be. When you're struggling mentally, you're shot.
Mentally fit is just as important, if not more than physically fit.
Right. And I see that a lot, especially with, you know, a lot of the people that I come in contact with. And it's kind of like one of those things where it's cool, where people are really focusing on the mental health aspect. But I feel that we're in a very great and exciting time because we're now discovering so much more about the human brain, so much more than we ever have before. I mean, 10 years ago, people didn't know what EQ was. I had no idea. I just thought I had people just tell people like, you know, way back in the day, like just Chris has a mouthpiece. Dude can talk some shit, right? And that wasn't what made me good in sales. Right? This dude's got a mouthpiece. But I wasn't that I even would talk. It's about the words that I would use to penetrate through their bullshit. Like, I'm going to get your attention. And that was always my approach when it came to me negotiating or brokering a deal. Like, listen, Craig, I'm not here to waste your time. And I really don't give a shit. My job is this. I need to figure out this is going to work for you. If it doesn't line with this, then you got to go. Okay. I'm not, and they were like, people respect that. They respect that. I'm like, listen, I don't think this is going to work for you. And people go, that's a really good takeaway. I'm like, dude, I'm not playing a game with these individuals. I'm not doing what you do to try to make sales. I don't play games. I tell them, yo, Craig, this shit isn't going to work, bro. Right? This isn't going to work for you. Is that something obviously you being exposed to like Wall Street, that type of game, right? And there's a lot of people out there that don't understand the compound effect that you have on individuals when you're making large investments. Do you sit back and go, I know what they're thinking I'm trying to do. Like, how much do you have to cut through the bullshit and be like, yo, man, I'm being real with you, bro. Like, relax. Like, no, this isn't going to work. Do you have those type of level of conversations with individuals, maybe prospective customers coming in or just anybody that you're aligned with?
Yeah, listen to me. Everybody should have people around them that are not people pleasers, but that are people that will not co-sign your bullshit.
Yep.
So
Boom.
I want people around me that are going to Craig, you got to level up right there, or you could have done better there.
Love that, bro.
Or your effort wasn't where it should be. That's who I want to surround myself with, not like yes people, you know? And so that being said, it's the same style that I take when I mentor and coach people. I'm not here to be your friend, although, you know, as it turns out, everybody that I interact with in my community, it's like a family and we are good friends. But first and foremost, I want to get you results, right? Whether that's a business transaction or it's personal development or it's leveling up in different areas of your life. Like, I'm not going to, you know, sit there and accept the fluff. You don't want someone to co-sign.
Yeah, I don't need that.
I want to tell it like it is so that you can actually improve. Or in the scenario that you were just talking about, an investment's not for you or it is. But tell the truth. Right.
Even if it's something that where, Chris, I don't have the financial means. Well, that's a you issue. It's not a me issue. Right. I don't lower prices. This is a price, right? What is it? I watched Fat Joe say this, and it was funny. A guy that's connected to his team said it, and he was like, he brought it up. He's like, yesterday's price is not today's price. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's so true, though, man, because I know the level of impact and I know what's involved and I know what I'm bringing to the table. And if I'm co-signing on something in a business, but I need to have the people around me, they're going to keep me aligned and hold me accountable. I love when I have my team approach me and go, Chris, man, like, are you all right? What's going on? Because I mean, I like people to check me.
Yes.
I want you to check me. That's where growth is hidden, my friends.
That's it.
You got to have people who are going to be like, yo, Craig, man, I didn't like what you said to me just then. You know, but I'm not going to do it in a public forum. I'll pull you to the side and have a conversation. We're men.
Yeah.
They're like, yo, man, I didn't like what you said there, man. It made me feel a certain way. And my feelings are obviously mine. It's not an opinion. It's how you make someone feel is a reflection on how the reflection of, I guess you would say, how well you love yourself and how you value yourself.
Or honor yourself.
Yes. Man, this is so powerful, because the way that you treat people, if you talk to someone at a dinner and you're talked down to someone, I won't fuck with you. I mean, you're cool. I won't be confrontational with you. You'll never know that I know what I saw and what I felt. I'll never communicate that to you, because I'm not going to obviously have a conversation with something that I can't recycle with my energy.
Yep.
I just move. Like, I just remove you out of my life. I don't need to have that conversation. But when you're meeting, and I mentioned this, and I'm not trying to say the invent speaking game, but there's a lot of energy vultures, because I've been in that.
Vocabulary is second to none. I love it.
It is, bro. I'm telling you, bro. They're like, their energy just
The
vultures. They are vultures, man. Like, they'll just suck onto your energy because they go, this kid's got something. Craig's got something. I want to align to this, because they see dollar signs. And I've had a lot of these leeches and vultures latch onto my level of energy because of, whatever he's going to do, he's going to make an impact. I'm going to go along with this. It's do you have those people around you to kind of filter these individuals out without you having those conversations and maybe giving you advice, like a business development team? Like, walk me through that.
To be honest with you, my team, my full-time employees, I love them. Bunch of ladies, as you know, because we've been interacting, and they're great. But when it comes to stuff like that specifically, I go with my intuition.
Good.
And I have a pretty good judge of character when it comes to stuff like that, so I could tell right away. But it's a good point. Like as we continue to explode the brand, and I say very humbly, a lot of people want to get involved, right? How can they have a piece of the pie, or how can they do this? So it's challenging to navigate through all that. But ultimately, it has to be done. And I guess it's a good problem to have, right? Because it means you're doing something. It means you're making an impact, and other people see that. So it is what it is, but we navigate, and we trust our intuition. Right.
I love that, man. And, I'm always going to be there cheering you on from, obviously maybe a distance, but one day we'll meet in person. And I was curious because, when I kind of did it backwards in your story, like I was the guy that was behind the scenes pulling strings for companies, because I was the guy to go to, and then I would just fade into the black. I would go there for 3 months, align all the processes, align my team, deploy my staff, and then I would move on to take a percentage and move on. So I was, around some really successful individuals, but in event speaking teams, I realized that, like, dude, it was like when they were selling their programs and shit, it was like their one night stand. They're selling the program, and then next thing you know, there was no fulfillment process.
None.
And that's something that really irks me. It's like, that's what I mean by preying on the weak.
Yes.
And I can see it coming from a mile away. And I know that you do things for the right reasons. And that's why I wanted to ask that question, because, and if you're not conscious of it, you'll see it. You know what I mean? It's scary to watch. It's scary to watch, especially with some of the staff and the infrastructure, or the lack of infrastructure within their organization. I see where they're not connected to their source and what makes the company tick. Like, some of my favorite questions is like, what is this company becoming? Just the same question about the human being. Like, what is this company becoming? Not what you're trying to accomplish. What is it becoming? Like, so what do you need to do? I have hard conversations with, other CEOs. They come to me for advice, and they'll go, I guess I developed that kind of reputation when they come to me and like, don't ask me questions that they really don't want to answer to.
Yeah.
Do you seem like that kind of cat as well? Do you have people that come to you and like, all right, I'm not going to ask Craig this question because he's going to give it to me raw?
Yeah, because you don't sugarcoat anything, brother. And it's one of the reasons why you and I hit it off right from the beginning, because we mirror each other, some of the qualities. And I love that about you. It's honorable, and ultimately, we don't have time to bullshit people. Like, we're not going to be like, spoiler alert, like, we get one shot at this thing, right? Depending upon what you think about after, soul, spirit, that's a different conversation. This human experience right here, like this earthly experience, we have so much time. Tell the truth, keep it real, and even if it's not pretty sometimes.
Yeah, well, it's gonna get ugly. I'm gonna be 100%. It's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get ugly. I mean, seriously, bro, when you're on that path to like transformational type of growth and you're making these moves, bro, shit's going to get ugly. But it's kind of like it's one of the old songs back in the day. I'm not sure if it's even a Christian song. It's talking about being in a fire and you're in the fire. I'm built for fucking chaos. I can be in chaos, but I love to be happy. So, but we can take this conversation anywhere you want to take it. But I would much rather take it this way if you want. You know what I mean?
Couldn't agree more, brother. That's
awesome. All right, let's. I know that I can talk to you all day long, but this for the listeners. But like some of the things that obviously my team is just fucking phenomenal, bro. They put things everywhere and they put hyperlinks and show notes and they promote the way that they're supposed to. But I'm not going to ask you what the podcast go like. Oh, where to find you? They know where to find you. Like, what are you trying? Where do you see yourself? Let me frame it better. Where do you see yourself in the next, the trajectory of the next maybe potential year after all the massive success of over the last year and a half, 2 years?
Yes. So straight up, and I say this with compute and utter humility, want to be the most booked speaker on the planet. So this way we can make the biggest impact possible and reach as many people. Top podcast, right? As many downloads so that we can reach and have that exposure. And change as many lives as possible. Obviously, the CLS membership, continue to grow that to thousands and eventually millions and so forth. Just continue to extend the reach, brother. It seems like the connection is rock solid. It's one reason why everyone's gravitated towards CLS in not that long of a time. So we just want to continue that, right? If it's not broke, don't fix it. The message is there. And the best part about it is I work on myself each and every single day. I'm sharpening the axe. I'm listening to audiobooks. I'm collaborating with these jugs. I'm picking their brain. So I'm constantly learning. It's never ending. It's limitless so that I can incorporate the content. Number one, because I love it. Number two, I can give it back to the community and help them and facilitate breakthroughs and growth. And so just extend the reach, brother, and keep doing what we're doing. Conversations like this obviously go a long way.
Right. And thank you for that. And it's something that I will be more conscious of. There's other parts of the world, where public speaking and other different types of events. When I look at the UK, it was like my other account was hacked and I had over 200,000 followers and I grew this account in less than a year to over whatever the level of followers. I don't even know. I don't look, but my team runs the accounts and shit. But when the way I look at these accounts and the way I look at the level of exposure or the level of reach, what other demographics and what other freaking areas of opportunity can I hit? Because I was saying the same thing, just like you, before they put a microphone in my face. I've been saying the same shit because I live, breathe, and eat, sleep this. If someone doesn't hear me, then you're not tuned into the right stations. You know what I mean? You're not open to change anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me in the first place. But there's a lot of people that obviously I'll connect you with, and I'm all about being a master communicator, but then also on top of that, executor through what I'm saying I'm going to do for people. And I look at every person that comes onto the show as a lifelong friend. And there's someone that I know that you don't know, I will make an introduction.
And likewise, brother, likewise.
Right. And I appreciate you, man.
If I introduce you to somebody, I'm not going to lose 1 ounce of sleep. I know that you're going to do the right thing. And if anything, it's going to look even better for me.
Right. I appreciate that, man. And it means a lot. But any famous last words? If you had to leave anything to our listeners today, what would you want to share?
Simple. Anybody out there that knows that they're meant for a little bit more and they're feeling a little stuck, look yourself in the mirror and say 3 words. Why not you?
Whoa. I don't even know how to else leave that other than peace out, guys. Much love. If you guys, if you're watching the video component of this show, it's been streaming on the bottom of this. And if you're listening to the audio version of this show, check the show notes and you'll know exactly where to find Craig. And I'm pretty sure with the new episode coming out on his show, you'll be seeing a guest appearance of me on his show, the CLS Experience. I can't wait for that. So, we'll change the seats. Yeah, they'll change the seats a little bit and have you pick my brain and kind of go in and we'll have another dope ass conversation. But guys, much love out there. Take care. Be well, be you, be great. Peace out. Reach out to Craig. Craig, appreciate you again, man. Peace.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
This broadcast is brought to you by WINJECT Studios. We are an all-in-one educational platform for podcasters that revolutionizes how hosts leverage content to increase engagement with listeners, downloads, and income. We come together to focus on community, collaboration, and collective impact. For more information on how you can interact directly with our hosts, access exclusive live content with offers you can't get anywhere else from our official partners, join our purpose-driven community by visiting www.winject.com. If you're ready to build a career doing what you love, then we're ready to see you there.